Everyone, and we're on getting into the second game straight away. But just before that, as you've just seen, the first game of this BO3 was completely run over by Bonk. It was a really, really close game, though. It was a 13-10 for Bonk versus NiP. We're going to see the second game in just a second. But before that, we've got one quick interview that we've made today, a bit before, with Kasra Jafrudi, who's the Valorant Global Esports Business Strategy Lead. So he's going to talk to you about what Riot has been learning from the whole Ignition series and where they want to take Valorant in the next competitive game. So see you in a second and enjoy this.
When we created the Ignition series, one of our goals was to watch all the events and learn from third parties, whether it's from their structure, their format, and how they run the events. And we've been watching and learning very closely from them. You know, we've seen some that have been open tournaments with open qualifiers. We've seen some that have been invitationals with the best teams, and we've seen some that have been invitationals with streamers. And we've been watching them all and seeing how they perform. We've also seen events that are streamed with co-streamers and influencers, or events that are, have one main highly produced stream. So we've been watching very closely. I think it seems like right now that fans want open competition. They want to find the best teams possible in each region, and that's one of the takeaways we're taking away from this for sure. But we're all still learning, and I think as the Ignition series events go on, they're all evolving as well, and every one of them is doing something new. Yeah, we know a lot of players are investing a lot of time into this game, and we want to ensure that we can support them from a structural standpoint, in both now and in the future. Right now, we're very focused on building the competitive foundation for the sport. So our key focus has been ensuring there is competitive integrity in the matches and players feel that the game and the esports is fair. But ultimately, as we grow the scene, we want to make sure that they have both the support in becoming pro, and that we can do things to reduce the barrier to entry of becoming pro, but that while they're pro, they have the support they need to feel healthy. We know players are making a really big commitment, and we want them to look back 3-5 years from now and know that they made the right choice, and that they were supported by the ecosystem, and that their health matters.
All right, so we're all very excited to see the next competitions going on in Valorant. But before that, we're heading into game 2 of Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Bonk. So straight away is HYPERX and Pansy just for you.
Much and have to unmute my mic. Silly me. Might help. Lovely to hear from Riot. Of course, their involvement has been actually pretty cool to see. I mean, we no shade to be thrown, but other games I'm sure we've both been involved in, for example, have definitely not been as proactive as being vocal and taking very much a part in this and taking pride in it. So really good to hear from the Riot devs. I'm sure they're around, especially after Ocelot's tweet. I see Whale in the replies. He likes a meme or two.
Yeah.
But let's kind of look at map 2. We've got Bind coming up, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't seen much Bind today. So what can we expect in your opinion after what we saw on map 1?
We haven't, no, and I mean, what a thriller that was, just to start off on that. But Bind's always an interesting one for me. It's very much a map that relies heavily on I guess coordinated executes, more so than the other maps, interestingly enough. And I think that comes down to the lack of kind of like that third lane in terms of middle area. Obviously, the teleports kind of cancel that out. But just looking over the stats here, I mean, statistically, you're seeing stepping up massively. 25 kills for that boy. But, I mean, for me, I don't know how you feel, Lauren, but Bonk aren't safe. They stepped up big time in that previous map, and they were going, I mean, they were trading blows in terms of rounds. I was saying to you just before we started, I think that's the most 1v1 scenarios in terms of like post-plant it's come down to in a single map I've seen in a long time at least. But, yeah, I mean, Bonk just looks so good there. So good. And overall, Bonk looked really well composed, actually. They didn't crumble under pressure. I'll be honest, a bit of a surprise for me to see Bonk come out and take map 1.
I'm with you, but I think, this goes beyond just your normal kind of matchup, right? You got to kind of take stock of that. It wasn't a normal game. and it was exciting because of that. I haven't seen such a grudge match before where it's, so down to the wire, so many post plants, so many clutches, as you said, so many 1v1s. It was just beyond what we'd seen. So, I mean, I can imagine that translating into Bind. You get those set pieces, but I mean, my mind instantly goes to the Sentinels Gen G game, especially on Bind. The amount of post plants that went incredibly wrong for the Sentinels and the retakes that were incredibly well poised. If you are a well coordinated team, you can get some banging retakes on this. And so I'm looking forward to seeing between these two because they're clearly fired up, they're clearly ready to go, and a huge grudge match here. Would you hazard a guess of a prediction? Because I actually don't know which way I'm going on this.
Honestly, I would have seen NiP taking this beforehand, but seeing what Bonk have bought to play with today, I can see them closing this out, honestly. Okay. And again, it being a grudge match, going 1-0 up, they're going to be feeling themselves. Maybe we're going to see some confidence plays, and I mean, with them hitting shots, but it's fantastic to see safe on Phoenix. And
yep.
I think Phoenix is an agent. I know you absolutely love to see him, but Phoenix is an agent that kind of has that explosive opener to a round possibility that not many other agents have. You could talk about Breach being able to set up with his flashpoint and its fault line, but it's very much I'll set up for you. And Phoenix can be that true entry agent that we love to see. So I'm hoping we see that across in Bind. I'm not going to lie, but it's a rare pick. It's not the highest on the choice. For Bind in particular, but no, I'm gonna go all out here and say Bonk are gonna take this 2-0.
Okay, it's either 2-0. Of course, we go to the third, and Lee will step back in, and you guys get to close the show. We'll see. I'm honestly not sure. I really don't know. It was too close. I feel in that previous game. I mean, if you're coming down to those 1v1s every time, it's hard to take away. But also, if you let's say on the other side of it, right, for NiP. They lost those 1v1s. They lost those 2v4s. That is the easiest way to get tilted as a team. You lose a 2v4, you are pissed. You are straight up pissed. There's no two ways about it. That's a mistake you made. And it's no discredit to Bonk. They did great to exploit that, but you made errors to allow them back in. So it's one of the most tilting factors. Let's see if NiP can mentally reset from that, because close games are the hardest ones to move on from. When you get smashed, you just go, whatever, move on. We'll check this out next time. Done. So, I'm seeing a breach. Hello. Hiya.
I'm loving what I'm seeing. Again, that's obviously, I guess you could say, a replacement of the Phoenix from the previous map. But other than that, Bonk as well running the Brimstone. And that's something we've seen phased out on other maps. Obviously, the Omen being, I guess, more versatile in terms of, setups for entries onto sites. So
global smokes.
Yeah, but we know how strong Brim can be in a post-plant situation as well with his utility. Usually safe open things up onto Fearoff. That's the freest pistol round kill you're going to find. But the rest of the stack comes down B long, and they're going to try and look for an entry regardless.
I love this. I really love that. Safe, big commitment off the back of it. A little bit individual, no kind of coupling play to support it. So Aaron's now like, all right, I guess you're going to leave me on my own. Cool. Too much time can be bought here. That's a big question. Smoke's going in. You can see the execution being highlighted here. And they're going to be getting the pressure going. Aaron, instantly removed. NiP back with the player advantage. The spike should be able to make it towards the site as well, pretty uncontested. And the pace has now been picked up from NiP. This is their map choice, keep in mind. So you've got to feel they picked this for a reason, and you've got to hope that they can deliver more than we just saw.
Yeah, actually getting into a bit of a scrap here. The spike going to retreat all the way back, but you've seen the last man standing. He does have a little bit of utility, and a couple of the NiP players are low HP, but I think they're just going to challenge here. He does find one, but the trade comes in. That was a bit of a weird way that one kind of turned out, considering First Blood did go in favor of the defenders.
Yeah, honestly, I love seeing Omen. Still, I think his smokes are so versatile. I actually don't. I main Brim. I mean, I think he's fantastic, but I think currently to have the ability to put those global smokes in is just so useful. Beyond that, though, nice little start for Safe there, but as I said, a little bit individual trying to cross out on that, kind of leaving the poor old Cypher out on a bit of a limb. But again, you've got to hope that if NiP pick this map, they've got a nice, well-rounded approach to it. We do see the kind of standardized buy. These grenades, this spam that could come out from your scene could be massive. Good chunks of damage if given the opportunity to do so. This would be the prime opportunity to do so. Cage up. Boombot in. They know there's someone close. Lucka gets him.
Yeah, you're seeing actually weirdly challenging through the cage there, but NiP will find the first 2 kills on the round. Bonk are poised with a shorty inside lamps, but actually Lucka. Wow, that was actually a really clean headshot there, and using the tailwind to get out and dodge down to 30 HP, but another kill goes in favor of NiP, and it's just safe on the breach left, and he's all the way over in the attacker's spawn, actually back over towards the cage, so probably going to look for an exit here. But not a big investment on the side of NiP, so again, any kills he gets here, it's not really going to be too impactful in the grand scheme of things.
Very true. I do have to warn, I might need to go and check if all my windows are shut, because I just thought maybe a truck was going past, but I think it's a thunderstorm. So I'm going to have to go check all my windows are shut and make sure that I don't turn my tiny apartment into a swimming pool. So you know what? I'm going to leave you with this next round. Take us through it, bud. I'll be right back. Yeah, catch you in a sec.
Best of luck to you. You're going to have Bonk now obviously on their first buy round, and Lucka, I'm assuming, gonna opt for an operator here, but currently only seeing a Spectre on the board. We see another stack over towards B site, and let's see, outside Fountain majority, but we do have that lurker over on A short as well. Keep an eye on the minimap, see if he tries to show any presence towards A site. Safe now. Interestingly enough, the operator in the hands of the breach for Bonk. It's not usually one we see, but like I said, he's more of an enabler in terms of his utility. Algebra comes through, doesn't really get too much information, but the paint shell through the teleporter going to do a little bit of chip damage before they make their way through window. But looking like we're going to have a full B hit again here from NiP.
Back, no worries. Let's have a little catch up. It looks like again a nice B piece coming through. Already safe though, going to find a bit of performance with that up. Needs a bit more, going to be helped out on the angle to play it back in. No spike planted yet either, so keeping him busy on that site.
Yeah, and relatively uncontested on the way in. Spike's going to finally go down, but they're very cautiously clearing the site before committing to the plant. So I kind of like that. Safe going to send an aftershock through from elbow. Not going to find any damage off that, but again, the player's boxed in on site here, so possibility of Bonk doing some damage here and potentially retaking in a 3v2 situation.
Fuse being toyed with. What can the site? I don't think this site can really do much. Rhyme, nah, outdone. How many alive do they have? 4. That's not bad. And they're going to try and build up their players in the correct way, give those ult points in the right direction. And again, it's what we kind of hope for, is this close game between these two. Damn. I'm loving this. Honestly, bring me more of this going forward. Oh my god, that thunder is so freaking loud. It keeps like shaking my apartment.
I was just saying, mine actually went down yesterday during a thunderstorm, so this is not good.
We'll see how far we get.
All 3 casters currently.
Yeah. Well, look, Lee's in the same city as me, so me and D-Man might be out of there, and you might have to do the solo cast. I don't know. It might happen.
Get me some Monka S in chat.
We'll see. Lucka on the off as well, though, so this could be a nice little game to watch unfold. Bit of a default to start with, no big aggression. I'm seeing a double stack down B long, though, for the defensive side, which I quite like. I love defensive side aggression. The Sage is ready to meet it. That's it. Well read.
Yeah, Hip gonna find that one, and again, not sure why he's swinging that deep. They've got the information, nobody's kind of over peeking Fountain, and again, safe on the breach there to kind of set up a peek if necessary. And Hip's actually going to find a second down there with the Bulldog, and that's a lower investment weapon. So to find that value off this on NiP's first buy round, as I say that, Kriya will fall. You see him just going to blast pack, hop his way over, but Fearoth will find it nonetheless. And Bonk now down to just 2 players standing. NiP going to send the spike back over towards A short here.
Oh, Ziz, good luck, mate. Here he goes. Casual 1v4. There's 1. There's 2. Oh, don't get me excited. He's made it possible. It's now a 1v2 rather than, what, a 2v4? How many of these have we seen happen?
I mean, Bonkar was winning these on Haven. That's all I'm going to say.
He wins these? Is that the phrase we're going for? We might have to. We'll see. Let's see if he gets the first. Oh, the gun barrel shown. The pre-fire. What an error from Fearoth. Oh dear.
Just through her shoulder, yeah.
And now we have one left. Lucka tucked in the corner, trying to play the time. Bonker has no idea. Does he see anything? No, nothing given away just yet. Lucka waits as a thunder booms through my apartment, peeking on the spike. Every couple of seconds, another fate comes in. He's got to be careful. I think he knows where he is now. Bonker's got to go now, or it's never. Lucka's buying time so well. He's done everything he has to do. Beautifully played by Lucka.
And I was going to say, it came down there, Lucka being the operator in hand. He had to land that first shot should he choose to take a peek battle with Bonkar, but he definitely made it close. That was such an unfortunate timing there. Bonkar throwing a shoulder into Lamps. Netted him the kill in the end, but you see now, and this is interesting economy management here. Lucka obviously with the Blade Storm available, he's going to pass the operator off to his teammate. Again, with the hopes of maybe just popping this one off the rip and seeing if you can find an entry somewhere. And there you go. You hear it ring out.
Yep. You can see if they can find anything with it to start with, but once you hear that, you're not getting too fruity on the old pushes. Ziz has to keep it pretty calm. I like the use of the smokes here. Ooh, not bad. That's drawn a shot. That's given away the game. Lovely. I'll take that. 2 smokes for the sake of knowing where the attacking team's going. Yeah.
It's a heavy shower stack as well. Look, there's 4 players up here with the lurking mid as usual with the Cypher, but I kind of don't like a stack this heavy towards showers. It's very much a bottleneck on the A site. You can see the dark cover going to come out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The orbital strike is available as well.
There it is. There comes the ult. Suddenly, everyone's isolated. Where's the jet? There it is. Lucka makes a break forward, finds Yassine, finds Years, and suddenly,
I know exactly where you are.
I don't know how the hell they've gotten away with this. Lucka is having a belter of a round. Spike now planted. They're in such a favorable spot. It's time to save these guns if you can. Safe. Get out of there. 10 HP, using everything possible to try and make the great escape. Just about makes it through back by Spawn, but yeah, that is all down to that jet play.
Yeah, I mean, the orbital strike comes in on Tetris, and I mean, the only thing Lucka can do there is Cloudburst to get back. He'd already used his dash to get onto site, so he couldn't dash out of the orbital strike, but he somehow snuck his way under heaven and finds 2 kills off the Blade Storm, and that was all they needed in the end. A really impressive turnaround, actually, from NiP in this round. Rhyme potentially finding Aaron lurking down by the fountain here. He's just going to wait for a teammate to come and peek it with it, but actually, no, he's going to swing on it and find the headshot himself. That was a really nice round from NiP. Again, I was worried with the orbital strike being available. That there were all 4 stacked up inside showers there, but I guess the information coming through a little too late and it gets committed to Tetris instead.
Yeah, Lucka did really well with that. Lucka, forget to buy armor? Don't forget it, Lucka, please. No. There we go.
There we go.
All good. I mean, I've seen it in like majors where people forget to buy armor, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna pretend that couldn't happen. But for now, NiP with a decent enough start here. I think considering the economy is the way it is, it's going to take a big round from Bonk to get this one. So it's looking like this could be a 5-1. Yassine going to back away from this. Bit of a trade out over towards that short play coming through. That was weird. Like a doubled up sound for me there, but the play's still happening over towards B. This is just kind of going through the motions. This is nice together play from NiP, and that's what I want to see in anti-ecos. Don't let threats come across too easily. Make them work for it.
Yeah, stacking up, playing that buddy system. There's always a trade available. Bonkar going to send out the Aldra and try and find some information here. Lucka still hasn't been spotted, tucked into the corner. Octagon there. But I guess they're going to be leaning towards a B hit, but nobody really here to back Bonkar up on the site. I mean, he's keeping them at bay for the time being, but when the push comes through, again, I think they're just going to try and damage the economy. They're aware of the teleporter lurk. You can see Hip looking back to check that. Paranoia comes through, and here's going to be the B hit.
Yeah, they know Bonkar's on the site, but they've definitely seen that. They just need to clear it out well enough. As much as I like them playing the buddy system, there's also a time limit you want to keep in mind. You don't want to leave it late where threats can happen. Nice wall. This is lovely. This is really good from NiP. Again, we saw errors from NiP, but this looks like a much more versed team in this. They seem like they're approaching this in a very calm manner. Whereas Bonk's trying to create a little bit of chaos here, and Yassine would love to get a freebie off this. This going down makes it trickier for Yassine to find much. Swing. No miss on the first, but HYPE is there. So one loss, not the end of the world. I'll take that.
No, you're absolutely right. Really, really solid damage control from NiP there. Again, we've seen a number of thrifty rounds come out of the bag. I mean, come out of nothing today. So I'm definitely all for it. And I mean, look at it now. NiP just, they're rolling in money.
Oh yeah, the cash is phenomenal. The double op is the instant answer. It's such an all-in play. I mean, it can work, but it's such a costly thing to have to invest into. Instantly popping the ult though, they're getting great info. Look at the play from the Raze behind everyone. Now they might get a slight misread, which could cause a. Did he run out of time?
Yes.
Did he just run out of time as the animation went?
Yes.
He's pissed and he lands a shot anyway, but that's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, it almost looked like he fired a blank out of it, but he finds the kill nonetheless. Aldrin going to come through window here. Lee's got me well trained, I'm not saying it anymore. That's going to try and find some information on B side, but there's already a triple stack over here from the defenders. Hunter's Fury gets invested just outside elbow. Not going to find any damage initially, but it does force NiP out of the window temporarily. But no information gained from the Hunter's Fury either, and that's, you know, usually if I mean, they've got the benefit. Yassine pushed all the way out into showers, and he knows there's not a stack over there, and he came out short. So that's why they have 3 defenders over here. And actually, Korea actually got away with this. He has. Lucka dashes onto site, but gets picked off. And there you go. Korea's there, good for the trade.
Korea, again, excellent at creating these opportunities, but here comes Safe. That's a nice bit of play, but they've got to be quick to try and bounce off the back of it. Safe putting down all their utility, but all his teammates are falling, which is the bigger problem. So now Safe trying to find anything. The spike isn't down, though, so time isn't ticking favorably just yet for NiP. HYPE gonna get that one down. Aaron's on the side. He's right there, but the cage just goes away, and HYPE goes down. I thought it was gonna go the other way now, but Safe still trying to play it out as best he can, but how much more time can he buy here? It looks like he's doing everything possible. There it is. Holds the defuse. Not really in a position for the post-plant.
Again, just really good composure there in the post-plant situation from Bonk. And we saw them kind of, I want to say, flex that on Haven. They again, they're not quick to rush in. The trades come in their favor when somebody from NiP pushes forward to try and shut off the rotation coming through to the site. And again, just a really solid retake there. Safe's done fantastically well to use his utility to buy that much time and stall out the spike going down. And ultimately, the plant position is the reason they lost that round. It has to go down in the tube because of Safe's presence in elbow. And then the operator can't get anything done. And there you go, Safe finding Lucka outside showers to kick this round off.
Yeah, fear off. Trying to carve a path forward, following the little boom bot. Bonker might just put down the owl drone. There's a little bit of a counter-see. Bit of a both side of things yet, both seeing each other's owl drones, so they know roughly where one is. Spots a second. This ain't bad. This is a lot of info found now, so this execute on the site, but they don't know about Raze. They have not seen Raze yet, and she could be a pivotal factor. You're seeing there. Finding HYPE, looking good. Can't make more, but damage surely from those grenades going to come through. Yes, 9 HP for Korea, but they're getting the kill still.
Yeah, and this is going to draw the rotation over, but Fearoth again answering back, finds Safe, and now Bonk find themselves in a 2v3 retake. It's very much doable. Sage has fallen, so Korea not going to be able to get a heal. You can see Ziz is going to swing on this. Did he see it? No, he didn't, and they both misfire a little bit here. And that's he's going to put the incendiary out just to try and close out that kill, knowing full well Korea was as low as he was. But Spike goes down on Tetris. And Korea coming back to challenge Lamps.
Ziz still waiting, and with his buddy falling, they know where he is. Locked in here, unlikely to be able to have escaped, but they also want to keep themselves alive. NiP poised to potentially get to 6. Ziz trying to do what he can to maybe make some damage happen, find a little bit of a play to begin with. Kriya's the first, surely, to be the weaker target. No, it's Rhyme to find him in the end, as NiP bounce back again. Lovely work there, I thought, with that pickup of a kill coming in for the Raze. I was like, oh, okay, maybe game back on, but no, they succeeded in plenty of ways. And the information they got off the back of their Sober from Fearoth was massive.
Yeah, it was. NiP are looking very, very well coordinated here. Again, both teams kind of exercising a very, I don't want to say passive, maybe cautious approach to one another. But again, the heavy reliance on kind of like site executes here and slowly clearing, finding ground across the map. I mean, it's really fantastic to see the difference in approach. Lucka just going for a couple of love taps through the lamps wall, and Bonk are gonna be on the receiving end of a couple of them. But I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from NiP. They've obviously written map 1 off, and they're not holding it in their heads.
Now poised again for this A piece coming in. A bit of a different approach, following again the Owl drone coming out through the shower. There goes the smokes towards heaven. They go in quickly. It was a little early on that one, but they're going to go for it regardless. You're seeing waiting patiently, but only on pistols. How much are you going to get done? That's an execution.
Yeah, I love that. The charge down just before the neural theft ping comes off, and Lucka gonna just aggro his way into the backside of lamps and finds 2 on the round. And again, just that caution they're exercising. It might not seem like much, but look at the money. And now if you think about it, they've gone 2 rounds, lost 1, 3 rounds, lost 1, and then 2 rounds. Every single round they're winning, they're keeping like 4 alive, at least. And now, I mean, the rest of the half is free in terms of economy. They could lose 3 back-to-back rounds here and still be fine.
Yeah, you're spot on. I'm a bit worried that this might be a bad map for Bonk overall. Ascent would be 3rd. Maybe getting a little ahead of myself here. We're not even at the end of the first half, but 7-2 is quite a commanding score. It's quite a good approach. I'd like to say as well, this isn't an easy attacking-sided map either. You could argue maybe on Haven, attack can be quite strong. I think this is a little bit trickier, if I'm honest. I'm not saying it's massively biased, but I'd say the defensive side should be on par. Now, as I said, 2 rounds, not a lot. You're seen poised to get contact. He's got the support of the breach, but do they commit? A couple of steps here and there will definitely show presence. You're seen backing away, going to keep some tabs towards long as they don't have anyone watching that right now. Nice work from Safe. Doesn't back from the angle either. Double dips. This could be the res coming in. There we go. 3 players now spotted. Nice timing for the res to go, but only good for 1. I thought more would come from that.
Yeah, and it's ultimately hip. The life of a Sage there. Gets the revive off, and all Safe just caught the backside of Fearoth, sneaking into elbow, and we'll find it with the operator who's looking for a second, but nobody else there. Sends the fault line back down short now, and here you go. The teleporter rotation comes through, and Bonk looking to shut this one down. Actually, apologies, it was Rhyme actually coming through the teleporter there to back up his teammates. Bonk absolutely shutting down this push towards B, and the orbital strike going to buy a lot of time and actually going to find Lucka. And look at the clock, Lauren. It's running down now. Yep. Are they going to be able to get this down?
4 seconds.
Nope.
Nah, not going to happen. Bonk are there. They're not going to go down without a fight, these boys. And 5 standing is good for their money. They don't have to reinvest. They get to try and stabilize to close out this game as best they can. Now, the money's been good for NiP, though. They sit on a good margin. They've been, claiming these rounds pretty well. A couple of answers here and there, but overall, they've strung them together. Now, coming into this one, I want to see Bonk hold this again. I want to see this be another close game, but I still think you need 5 rounds here, minimum.
I absolutely agree with you there. It's I think based on how the previous map went, it wouldn't surprise me if things tighten up in terms of the round score overall. But you're absolutely right. Bonk not rolling over and taking this one. They're fighting back, that's for sure.
Need to find that form, because NiP are looking pretty raring to go. This seems much more comfortable for them, you know, pound for pound. And when you look at the maps, this is a very different look to what it was on Haven. So,
yeah.
You know, if you're G2, and I know David P was in chat, I know these boys watch the games, they'll be thinking, wow, okay, we know what we're picking in a best of 3 if we need to. If we want to pick to their weaknesses rather than our strengths, because they have strengths on every map, there's definitely some options now.
But Bind is a map that G2 have avoided. I said that earlier. It's, and again, I don't know if there's a reason for that, or they just say, we're good on every map, we're just better on the others. I think that's definitely a card that G2 has to play, but... back to this one, you can see 4 members coming down towards A short now. Paranoia comes through, and the tailwind from Lucka. He's got the Blade Storm popped. Not going to find anything with the right clip, but yeah, Korea swings on it as well and finds his.
I love it. I love that they take these fights. That's really, really good synergy with your buddies. The double peak on it is perfect. Now, going in, Korea continues form. Korea is still one of my favorite players. I have not seen him had a huge game as of late, but honestly... if he gets warmed up, one of the best omens there is, in my opinion. Post-plant positions, 3 in a row, make the right peaks, boys. Hip might have to be sacrificed, but honestly, against 2, I don't see them losing many more players.
No, it's not. Rhyme's got himself tucked into Tetris as well. You see, fine safe. Yassine actually just up in there. Maybe Hip's playing on 60 FOV, but didn't spot Yassine on top of the truck there. But again, just the rounds that NiP are winning here, it's like they're not even breaking sweat. They're literally just, they're in set formation every single time post-plant. There's crossfire set up. Everybody's watching a different angle. And on the entry as well, just to come back to that, the double peak, I absolutely love it as well. Blade Storm goes in. If he doesn't land the right click, it's Jet. You can just B-hop in there, fly around for a second. Korea just comes in, pops his head.
Did I just see a double AWP on the attacking side? I guess if you got the funds...
you got the money?
Why not? At worst, you just juggle the gun away anyway. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Last round of the half, right? So they could literally just have a gun on the floor.
Exactly, yep.
Well, so far it's paid off. Already the first pick. A little bit of a look from Hookah from that window room. And, they're getting a little peeky here. You're seeing going to run into Korea, and Korea goes down. Nice little bit of an information play, a little bit of a counter, a little bit of an equalizer, but no information garnered. You don't get much info from losing or winning those fights. Now, Rhyme going to be smoked off. Ooh, he's tempted to play ahead of that, and they're reading this well.
Yeah, you're seeing just foaming at the mouth on the other side. He's going to walk in. Okay. Yeah, a bit overzealous there. The Sky Smoke's down. You can just hold it, buddy. Now, the Recon Bolt tag comes through. The Hunter Fury follows up. Lucka's there to kill Zizd. And the killing blow, at least. And now, Bonk, in the last round of the first half, find themselves in a 2v4 for the retake on A site.
This is strong. These 2 players trying to run it back. That's Cypher. Little ahead. Aaron trying to work off the back of that wall, keeping him a little safe to the right. Cage goes up. Down goes Aaron. And now Bonk up. This clutch might be a little beyond him, even after his heroics in the previous. Rhyme says no. This is a commanding scoreline.
That, I wouldn't have called that coming into into map 2. I'm not sure if this is just a weak map for Bonk, or I see a couple of people in chat saying Bonk are much better on attack than they are on defense. Obviously, there is a team composition factor we can discuss.
Map.
It's their least played map. Okay, so Twitch chat being Twitch chat currently.
It's their least played. Yeah. They have a good win rate. They beat Party Parrots on it, but it's not one of their heavy picks. Their current most picked is Haven, Split, and then Ascent. So Bonk, this may just not be one of their matches that they love to play. Again, though, it's a small pool of information. You got to keep that in mind, of course. But into this, obviously switching it up. Pistol is required for Bonk. It's part of the win condition here. You want that comeback, you got to get the pistol.
Yeah, and again, terrifying to have NiP on the edge of double digits. Aldo going to come through. Going to get a tag in elbow, and there is a triple stack on B site right now, but they've only got information on 2 members, but Ziz will find Lucka. And that could be the entry they're looking for. They've got to be careful, though, because like I said, they only had information on 2. So do they expect the triple stack over here? Fault line goes through, and again, I like that lineup. Nobody there to follow up on it, but that's the kind of thing that Breach brings to the table.
Ooh, we've seen 26 HP is not ideal. Back away from that. Have a look elsewhere. And yeah, NIP do have a slightly better record on this map, but it's also one of their least played. It's not in the pool they often get. They did beat G2, 13A. It's a big name to have, but again, it's not one of their most played. So it's, again, this is a weird map. Certainly worse for Bonk than NiP, but still, for now, Aaron's still trying to get that challenge, and sometimes the ghosts hit, sometimes they don't. It's that feeling like sometimes you just tap the heads like that. Exactly like that! Rhyme shows them how it's done, and now Bonk left with 2 up against a 3 of NIP, but look at the time, it's dwindling.
Yeah, he's running out of it.
Healing.
I felt like they were... I mean, I don't want to say I felt like they were in a position to take that round after the first blood, but just a lot of hesitation. A lot of hesitation there, Lauren, and I mean, when you backs against the wall in terms of the map, not the series, because obviously this is going to bring it to 1-1. That's not what you want to be showing your opponent, because I mean, NIP are a very talented team, and if they choose to punish that hesitation, I think they're very much capable of it.
I'm with you. Ascent would be 3rd if it's needed. Right now, look, NiP is looking like they want to get there. That is their end goal, and then it becomes the win. But here, we want to see something. They need some good elements to come through for Bonk. And while that's not the start they need, you're seeing going down somewhat for free. Is far from it. Fearoth from afar, just going to keep them at arm's length as well. Doesn't need to get too involved. Rhyme finally gets overwhelmed, but luck has turned up. They've got this locked down. And again, that's a stunner from Ziz, but he's got to find more, and Lucka is just... He's on the loose. That's a nice little spike play, though. That's not bad. That's going to create some fear, but they ain't going through the TP.
No, and safe down to 15 HP. Just, I'm assuming he's going to just try and cling on for dear life to this Spectre in his hands, because by God are they going to need it. This is potentially, I say potentially, it's looking like it's going to be 11 rounds on the board here for NIP, and I mean, Bonk got to dig deep.
And I hate to say it, because it's not in competitive spirit, but sometimes you got to know when you beat, and save it for the next game. And I know that's something that people don't like to hear. I'm like, no, that never happens. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, as said, if this just isn't the map, keep your head about yourselves. Don't get too flustered. Talk it out. Have a chat. Get ready for what's coming your way, because this map has been a bloodbath. I want to look at their previous results up until this point for Bonk. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Lee's made a good point. Ascent, you could argue, is a weak spot for an IP.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a consideration to take going forwards in the series. Whether or not Bonk are in a position to kind of excel there and kind of capitalize on that. Again, they're gonna have to look for a couple of confidence boosters towards the end of this map, because it's hard to shrug off when you. I mean, if you get locked out 13-3,
yeah,
that's a tilter.
It's a lot. Yeah, considering the Bonk haven't lost a single map yet. Their semi-final, quarter-final, they did great. Barely breaking a sweat throughout this Prodigy. They took down pretty handedly. I mean, they've done well. They haven't faced this sort of threat as of yet. And he's to be expected against NiP. Anyone doubts him after the first map will be certainly reminded why they are here at this point. Safe taking those fights over by B-Long, doing the best he can to try and tip the scales, but Kriya instantly says, no, you don't get anything. There's no success here. You try and fight, we'll take you down. Every step they take, it gets just ripped away from them.
Yeah, and again, this one gonna slow down, and this is honestly what I think their downfall's been in this map. It's just hesitation. They haven't looked like they want to commit to an execute at all, and I mean, now look, when Spike's now down outside showers. it's just weird. It's just weird scenarios going on all over the place here.
It feels super individual. It feels, you know, put a fork in it, it's done. Very one by one. Again, super disconnected from each other. And the Brim had to just watch as his teammates got slaughtered. Spike recovered, but 13 seconds. Save the Phantom, save the armor. Try and do something in the next one. This has been one to write off if you're a Bonk fan. This is one that you want to forget. This isn't one you want to kind of dwell on. Think of that first map. Think of those clutches. Think how close it was. What a difference a map makes.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else to say, to be honest with you, Lauren. It's this is a gaping hole in Bonk's performance, to be honest with you. I was excited for this one because Bind is one of those ones where, you know, it comes back to, you know, decent setups and you end up seeing some really, really fantastic plays coming out in terms of utility. And we've not really seen that from either side. NiP haven't had to. They've just kind of, they've played a very basic attack. They just stacked up, they played trades, and they found entries.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like a map that they're well versed in. Luck is so good with the movement, but couldn't escape your scene in the end. A nice attempt, but it's the last attempt here on this map. It looks like map 3 will be a possibility, and I ain't mad. I'm actually pretty happy. Take me to the third. Let me watch more of what we saw on the first map and ignore what we saw here. Let's remember the series would be in a good and Korea waiting to play this back in, but with HYP going down, this could be around for them to dig their heels into. Utility being put to play. Korea checks on the close left. He does see safe, but it's too little too late. Trade comes out from Rhyme, and now Fearoth trying to find the place for himself. The reveal helps, but does he know where they are now? He knows where they're tucked towards. Yassine is still holding on.
Yeah, Yassine just finds a cheeky little headshot with the Phantom, and they will put one attacking round on the board. But again, I think in the grand scheme of things, NiP are going to be able to buy back. Well, everyone except Korea, actually. I mean, Rhyme can drop him something. Yeah, we're not going to see a weapon go over to him, so. Again.
Chat really liked your use of gaping hole.
They always do. They always do.
Yeah.
There.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It is. It always builds the energy a little bit in chat.
Get out of my way.
Oh, good luck, Bonk. It just feels like they're going back into the blender, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And I mean, it's a tall order to hold a team on match point for 8 consecutive rounds. And the way Bonk have been playing, I don't want to. I don't want to shit on them, but I doubt they're going to be able to. Yeah.
You know, when you look at some teams' strengths, you know, it's quite noticeable. And obviously, when they're not comfortable on the map, you also see it. You look at how Bonk was playing on the first. Wild. It pales in comparison. However, this B long plate could be fruitful, but they're going against 3 players dedicated to this. They aren't really falling for anything. They're not falling away because of that Cypher present all day. Let's just take our time, see what they do. Bonk's maybe trying to work a pick, but no one's given him much. No, at this point, I think NiP can just play this game. They can just... I mean, it's Bonk, they have to make moves, right? And they've already kind of demonstrated that they're not capable of doing so here on Bind. So NiP reacting to what Bonk's putting out, to be honest with you. Look at that spike. Now, with that Cypher getting some ground gain towards A, I'm probably going to kill the Jet here.
I know exactly.
Maybe the spike can make it around, but time is of the essence. 9 seconds. Rhyme still beating Ziz, but this is weird timing. 5 seconds on the plant. Just about gets it down. I thought maybe they could have even hindered that. Not to be good damage done, but now these 2 players for Bonk have to roll it back to the first map and clutch this out. Yeah, and they do spot the player playing that heady on top of Truck, but retake breathing down on the Bonk boys here. Recon Bolt there, going to give information of exactly where 1 is, but there you go. They're good for the trade. The defuse will come through, and that is a convincing victory here on Bind. Yep. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That was NiP was fine. They played that very well. It was. I know this sounds cruel. It's not meant to be. NiP played that in a way that honestly was fine. They look like a team who plays this map, but honestly, it wasn't anything special.
No.
They played a perfectly fine game. It was impressive to watch. Sure, very well handled. They, you know, crossed the T's, dotted the I's. But honestly, Bonk just didn't turn up on that map. It feels like that was why that wasn't vetoed. I do not know. I don't know the way the picks and bans went. I'm kind of curious now at that point. I guess they didn't have the option. But
well, I mean, it begs the question of how bad are they at split, right?
God.
Come
on, Bonk.
I gotta say it. That I mean, obviously Lee's gone to the extra effort here of trying to give us something to work with, and it would appear. I mean, according to some websites, they've only played one official game on Bind, and now's not the time to be in that position.
I mean, they have 2 games on it as of late that was recorded. HYPERX was probably the official that was recorded, and there was a very early game in this tournament against Azkara. I'm not too sure, a 13-8. So I don't know what the deal was for that pick, and I'm going to be honest with you guys at home. There isn't much deep analytical talk. I'm sure HYPERX. You know, what can you take away from this? It just felt like a map they do not have in their map pool.
I mean, I don't want to say, because on Haven we saw them kind of pull some really solid executes out, and in terms of like entry fragging onto sites, we just didn't see that on Bind. Whether or not that's the setup, they're not. You know, they're not sweeping angles at the same time. They're not as coordinated as they were. Like I said, Bind is, in my eyes, one that relies more heavily on that. There's 2 lanes into both sites. There's no real mid. The teleports kind of cut that out. So they have no presence to kind of lurk anywhere. They should be looking for an entry and acting upon it. And thinking back to the pistol round, they drew first blood. And what do? They kind of just sat there. And that was just odd to see. They looked really decisive, and just coming back to, again, I hate for it to be a crutch word throughout this map, but the hesitation. And NIP were happy to just sit there and say, well, look, if you want to run the clock down, like, be my guest, because you're not finding an entry, and you're also not making ground on the site. So really, do we have to give anything away? No.
And I almost hope that they can keep the mentality around them going into Ascent, because that's the next one, and hopefully they just go, yeah, not our map. Whatever. You know what I mean? I know that's a kind of a very shortcut way to look at it, but sometimes you got to cut your losses. Just be like, yep, not ours. Let's move on. This one we can do something on. It being that swift of an execution, you ain't going to feel it too much. I know it sucks to look at scoreline-wise, but you move on. It's the next one coming up, and in just a moment time we'll head to a break, because again, it's very hard to break down quite a one-sided affair, and it's no discredit to NIP. They played it well, but, you know, there's not...
I think, I was going to say, I think according to the schedule, we're actually about 21 minutes early here on the desk segment as well, and I think we'll struggle to fill the 8 minutes that we're supposed to be talking about the game, but just a poor showing. And I don't want to say, you know, Bonk a bad team. They've absolutely demonstrated they took the fight to NIP on Haven. That was an absolutely explosive start to the series. I mean, I'm concerned now that NiP being slightly weaker on Ascent than they are other maps, that we might see things go a very similar way on the 3rd map. Hopefully not. But yeah, I mean, grudge match, we're at 1-1 tied up. This is all we could ask for, to be honest with you.
You're right. And I really do hope Ascent does deliver. Who knows which sort of teams we'll see? Will we see the first map style, super close, so many post plants, so many clutches, so many crazy individual plays? Or game 2, where it's a blink and miss it, it's over, it's not our map, we move on. Of course, whoever wins this does go through to the finals to face G2. And if you ain't got a strong map pool, you ain't got much of a chance. So hopefully one of these 2 teams looks a little stronger on this one. Maybe a little bit of consistency would be nice. We'll find out after a short break. When we're back, we'll be carrying this one on into map 3 in this great series.
AORUS gaming monitors. Get tactical.